G'day folks, and welcome to Robbie's River Roundup for Friday, the 1st of May. May Day 2015. Proudly brought to you, as always, by Adventure Camping and Fishing at 14 Rowan Street, Wangaratta, where if you're one of the next 20 callers, they won't throw in a set of steak knives and they won't sell you a knife that'll cut through your shoe. But what you will get is expert knowledge. The shop is full of staff that love the outdoors. There's fishermen working there, there's shooters working there, and there's bushwalkers working there. So if you want to go in, if you want to look for advice, you will get people that are passionate about the job they do, and you will get good down-to-earth advice. Now before I talk about the rivers, I'm going to tell you a little story, something that happened to me during the week. I'm just going to put my rod over here. I was out fishing with my friend Jason, and we stopped at the Shell Roadhouse in Wangaratta to get some fuel on the way out. And I filled my car up and I spilled petrol all up my right arm. Anyhow, I didn't think much of it. It actually got really cold. As it evaporated, my arm got cold. Anyway, we're driving down the Great Alpine Road, and I had my window down a little bit, and Jason had his up and he's having a smoke. When he finished his smoke, he flicked his smoke butt out my window, but the wind coming through the window, because it was only open a little bit, blew the smoke back in and it hit the arm that I just spilled the petrol on, and my arm's caught fire. And I'm going, ah! Got a bit panicky, so I've wound the window down, held my arm out the window at 100 kilometres an hour, mind you. The wind, me thinking in the spare of the moment in a bit of a panic that the wind would blow the flames out, all it did was flare it up, and I had flames this high coming off my arm. Strangely enough, it didn't even hurt, because I think it wasn't the skin that was burning, it was only the fumes from the petrol that was still, or the residue that was on the arm, not actually the skin. That's probably why it didn't hurt. But anyway, I was in a panic, so I got my arm out the window, 100 kilometres an hour, wind blowing up. The bloody police saw me. Next thing you know, the party lights have come on in the revision mirror. They've pulled me over. I'm in a panic, and they probably saw my arm and panicked anyway. No sympathy whatsoever, the police. They actually booked me. They threw the book at me and fined me. You know what they charged me with? Having an unregistered firearm. Sorry folks, they're getting better. Anyway, I'm dribbling more crap than a broken toilet at the moment, so let's start talking about the rivers. I'm up here on a mountain stream, up on a tributary of the King River, up high in the hills. The water is bitterly cold. They've had quite a few frosts up here already this year at this altitude. We haven't had any rain since last week's river roundup. As a result, that flush that I spoke about last week has now pushed right through. I was walking along the banks of the Ovens River just yesterday in Wangaratta, and it's looking fantastic. It is higher than what it was a few weeks ago, but the water is still really, really clear. You can see a good couple of feet into the river, which is quite good for in town. Upstream from Wangaratta, it's always clearer because the King River makes it a bit dirty. But they've all settled right down. Now, they are carrying a bit more water than they were a few weeks ago. The Key was the same. It's a little bit higher than it was, but it's still looking good. The Ovens, the King, the Broken, they've all settled down and they're all looking really good again. The water is cold, the fishing is unpredictable, but they are looking as good as they will look at this time of the year. These smaller streams are just looking fantastic. I mentioned it last week, and I've said it the last few weeks, but the streams are in really, really good shape at the moment. Now is the best time to get out and chase a trout, and I'm about to go and do that, or attempt to do that. You couldn't get a better time of year weather-wise, you couldn't get a better time of year water conditions-wise. Now is the time to go out and try and catch a fish. And there's not much else I can say other than everything is looking fantastic. There's no dirty water anywhere, and if there is, it's right down the very lower end of the rivers as the remnants of that flush last week pushed through. As I said, all the creeks and rivers are a little bit higher than where they were, but they're certainly not high. They're actually still quite low, but they're not as low as they were. They're looking really good. Everything's looking great. If you go fishing this week, just a word of warning, make sure your mates flick their smokes out their side of the car. Oh yeah, look at that, here's a nice fish. I don't like fishing downstream, but sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do. I don't want to lose this fish, I want to get him out and get a video footage of him. I don't know how I went with the camera work from behind that tree. I'm looking straight into the sun and I'm fishing downstream, but look at that, what a magnificent brown trout. You could say I'm pretty happy with this one. Right, look at that. I'm happy with that. Caught him on the little black metalhead soft plastics. Soft plastic. Untangle you, buddy, and I'll get you straight back in the drink. It's good this time of year. The water's a bit colder. the survival rate's much higher. There's a little nice brown trout there. Just beautiful. Hey, he already put himself back. There you go, buddy. Oh, look at that. He swam off like a champion. Gotta love that. Wasn't the way I anticipated releasing him, but he's gone back. That's the main thing. I'm happy with that. I caught him on a metalhead, black metalhead soft plastic. I actually make these, and you can buy them at Adventure Camping and Fishing. I walked downstream and cast downstream and brought the lure back up. That's not a technique I like to use, but in holes like that where it's 4 or 5 foot deep, the current air temperature right here is probably only 14 or 15 and the water temperature is probably lucky to be 10. I'm not walking through all that crap in this cold weather, so I've had no choice but to walk down and fish it from above. But it worked. Who's complaining? Have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you next week.